Part 3. Love Beyond Worlds, Orion Vale, Seraphine's long-lost father. Guardian of ancient secrets, Luna Starweaver, ancient prophecy keeper, an Exember, young dragon prince, seeking alliance setting. The crystal realm where dragons and humans unite. Part 1. The mysterious protector. The autumn rain drummed against the library windows as Seraphina Vale bent over her ancient text, her golden hair catching the warm lamplight. She had always been drawn to old languages, but tonight something felt different. The symbols on the page seemed to shimmer and dance before her eyes, as if they were trying to tell her something important. Another late night Sira. Professor Williams approached her table, concern evident in his weathered face. "You've been here every evening this week." Seraphina looked up, blinking away the fatigue. "These dragon texts are fascinating, Professor. I feel like I'm on the verge of a breakthrough with the translation." What she didn't mention was the strange dreams that had been haunting her sleep. Dreams of fire and scales, of a deep voice calling her name through the darkness. Dreams that felt more like memories than imagination. Outside the library, a black luxury car pulled up to the curb. Damien Cross stepped out, his expensive suit doing little to hide the tension in his powerful frame. His dark eyes scanned the building, searching for any sign of danger. For 3 weeks now, he had been watching over the girl, though she remained completely unaware of his presence. Damien had built his technology empire from nothing, becoming one of the youngest billionaires in the world. But his wealth and success were not what drove him to stand guard in the shadows. Something ancient stirred within him whenever he saw Seraphina, something that both thrilled and terrified him. Inside the library, Seraphina gathered her books and prepared to leave. As she stepped into the cool night air, she felt the familiar sensation of being watched. She had noticed it for weeks now, a presence that seemed both protective and mysterious. The attack came without warning. A massive figure emerged from the alley beside the library, his form shifting and changing in the dim streetlight. Victor Blackstone had been hunting for decades, searching for the last of the Vale bloodline. Tonight, he had finally found his prize. Seraphina Vale. His voice rumbled like distant thunder. "You cannot hide what you are forever." Fear froze Seraphina in place as Victor's human form began to change. His skin hardened into dark scales, his frame expanding until he towered over her like a living nightmare. She wanted to scream, to run, but her legs refused to obey. That was when Damien appeared. He moved with inhuman speed, placing himself between Seraphina and the dragon shifter. "Stay away from her, Blackstone." Damien's voice carried a dangerous edge. Victor laughed, a sound like grinding stone. "The protector reveals himself at last. I wondered how long you would lurk in the shadows, Cross." "Long enough to ensure she stays safe," Damien replied. His own transformation beginning, Seraphina watched in shock, as the man who had been her secret guardian changed before her eyes. His expensive suit tore as massive wings erupted from his back. Silver scales rippled across his skin, and his eyes blazed with an inner fire that spoke of centuries of hidden power. The two dragons faced each other in the empty street, their true forms magnificent and terrifying. Damien's silver scales caught the moonlight like liquid metal, while Victor's dark form seemed to absorb the light around him. "She doesn't even know what she is," Victor taunted. "How can you protect something so fragile, so unaware?" "She doesn't need to know," Damien growled. "She deserves to live a normal life." "Normal." Victor's laughter echoed off the surrounding buildings. "She is the last daughter of the Vale line. Her blood carries the power to unite or destroy our kind. There is nothing normal about her destiny." The battle that followed shook the very foundations of the street. The two powerful beings clashed with earth-shaking force, their roars echoing through the night. Damien fought with the desperation of someone protecting everything he held dear. While Victor attacked with the fury of ancient hatred, Seraphina pressed herself against the library wall, her mind struggling to process what she was witnessing. Dragons were real. Somehow she was connected to their world in ways she couldn't understand. As the fight raged, something began to stir within her. The symbols she had been studying suddenly made perfect sense. their meaning flooding her, consciousness like a dam bursting. She was not just a student of ancient languages. She was the inheritor of something far greater. Stop. Her voice rang out across the battlefield. Carrying a power that surprised even her, both dragons froze mid-attack, their attention drawn to the young woman who stood bathed in an ethereal golden light. The power radiating from Seraphina was unmistakable, ancient, and pure. Victor's eyes widened with a mixture of fear and reverence. "The awakening begins," he whispered, before shifting back to human form and disappearing into the shadows. Damien slowly transformed back, his concerned gaze fixed on Seraphina. The golden light around her flickered and died, leaving her swaying on her feet. He caught her before she could fall, cradling her gently against his chest. "What's happening to me?" she whispered, her green eyes searching his face for answers. "Something. That should have happened long ago," Damien replied softly. "Your heritage is finally awakening, Seraphina. You are the last of the Dragon Guardians, the bridge between our world and the human realm." As sirens wailed in the distance and curious faces appeared at windows, Damien knew their quiet life was over. The secret he had tried so hard to protect was finally revealed. Now he would have to help Seraphina navigate a world she never knew existed, while keeping her safe from those who would use her power for their own dark purposes. "Trust me," he said as he carried her toward his car. "Explain everything, but first we need to get you somewhere safe." Seraphina looked up at the man who had risked everything to protect her, seeing him clearly for the first time. Behind his human exterior lay centuries of wisdom and pain, but also a love so pure it took her breath away. "I trust you," she whispered. And with those words, their extraordinary journey together truly began. The safe house Damien brought Seraphina to was unlike anything she had ever seen. Hidden beneath the city, in a network of tunnels that predated modern civilization, the Dragon Sanctuary thrived in secret. Crystal formations provided natural light, and ancient carvings covered every surface, telling stories of a time when dragons and humans lived in harmony. "This is impossible," Seraphina breathed, her fingers tracing the intricate symbols on the walls. To her amazement, she could read them perfectly now, as if a door had been unlocked in her mind. Damien watched her with careful eyes as she explored the main chamber. "Your grandmother never told you about any of this?" "My grandmother?" Turned confusion clouding her features. "She died when I was 5. I barely remember her." Alina Nightshade was one of the most powerful guardians of her generation. A new voice spoke from the shadows. An elderly woman emerged, her silver hair braided with tiny crystals that caught the light. Despite her age, she moved with grace and purpose, her violet eyes holding wisdom accumulated over decades. "I am Cassius Draven," she continued, keeper of the Dragon Council's records. "Your grandmother was my dear friend Seraphina. She sacrificed everything to keep you safe." Seraphina felt the world tilt beneath her feet. Safe from what? Before Cassius could answer, footsteps echoed through the chamber. Zara Moon, Seraphine's best friend since childhood, appeared at the entrance, her usual cheerful demeanor replaced by worry and determination. Zara rushed forward, pulling her friend into a fierce embrace. "When I saw the news about the explosion near the library, I was terrified something had happened to you." "Zara, how did you find this place?" Seraphina asked, though part of her already suspected the answer. "Because I've been protecting you too," Zara admitted, her brown eyes filling with tears. "My family has served the Vale line for generations. I've known about your heritage since we were children, but I was sworn to secrecy until your powers awakened." The betrayal hit Seraphina like a physical blow. "Everyone knew but me. My entire life has been a lie." Damien stepped forward, his expression pained. "Not a lie, Seraphina. A protection. Your grandmother made the ultimate sacrifice to give you a normal childhood. She bound your powers and erased your memories, hoping you could live free from the burden of our world." "What burden?" Seraphine's voice rose, anger and hurt warring in her chest. "What is so terrible about my bloodline that everyone felt the need to hide it from me?" Cassius gestured toward a wall covered in ancient artwork. The images depicted a great war between dragons and shadow creatures, with a figure that looked remarkably like Seraphina standing at the center, radiating golden light. "You are descended from the first guardian. It's the one who forged the covenant between dragons and humans 3,000 years ago," Cassius explained. "Your bloodline carries the power to either strengthen that bond or shatter it forever. The shadow dragons have been hunting your family for centuries," Damien added, his voice heavy with old pain. "They believe that by corrupting a Vale guardian, they can break the ancient protections and plunge both our worlds into darkness." Seraphina stared at the wall paintings, trying to process the magnitude of what she was learning. "And Victor Blackstone? He serves the Shadow Council," Zara said, quietly. "They've been growing stronger, gathering followers who believe dragons should rule over humans, not protect them." As if summoned by their conversation, a low rumble echoed through the tunnels. The crystal formations flickered, their light dimming as an oppressive darkness crept into the sanctuary. "They've found us," Damien growled, his form already beginning to shift. "Everyone stay behind me." But as Victor Blackstone emerged from the shadows, he was not alone. A dozen other figures followed him, their eyes glowing with malevolent red light. The shadow dragons had come in force. Seraphina Vale, Victor's voice carried an hypnotic quality that made her take an involuntary step forward. "Come with us. Willingly, and your friends will be spared." "Don't listen to him," Cassius warned. But Seraphina could feel the pull of Victor's words like chains around her mind. That was when the most unexpected thing happened. The crystal formations around the chamber began to resonate with a pure, clear tone. The sound grew stronger, and Seraphina realized it was responding to her heartbeat, her fear, her determination to protect those she loved. "I am Seraphina Vale," she said, her voice growing stronger with each word. "Daughter of guardians, keeper of the ancient covenant. And I will not be your weapon." The golden light that had appeared during the first attack now blazed around her like a star being born. But this time, she was not afraid of it. This time, she embraced the power that was her birthright. The shadow dragons recoiled as waves of pure energy washed over them. Victor snarled, his human mask slipping to reveal something far more terrible underneath. "You think your light can stop us?" he hissed. "We are older than your precious covenant, older than the bonds that chain our kind to weak humans." "And I am older than your hatred," Seraphina replied, her power growing with her confidence. The battle that followed was unlike anything the sanctuary had ever witnessed. Damien fought alongside the other guardians, his silver flames meeting. The shadow dragon's darkness in spectacular displays of light and fury. Cassius wielded ancient magic, her crystals becoming weapons of pure force. Even Zara revealed her own hidden abilities, moving with supernatural speed and grace. But it was Seraphina who turned the tide of battle. Her light did more than simply drive back the shadows, purified them, revealing the twisted pain and fear that had corrupted these once noble beings. Some of the shadow dragons stopped fighting altogether, overwhelmed by memories of who they used to be. Victor, however, was beyond redemption. His rage had festered for too long, consumed too much of his original self. He launched himself at Seraphina with desperate fury, but her light met his darkness head-on. The collision sent shockwaves through the sanctuary, cracking ancient stones and setting the crystals ringing like bells. When the dust settled, Victor was gone, fled back to whatever dark realm had spawned him. As the surviving shadow dragons retreated, Seraphina swayed on her feet, exhausted by the massive expenditure of power. Damien caught her, his strong arms providing the anchor she needed. "That was incredible," Zara breathed, her eyes wide with admiration and concern, but also terrifying. "I could feel the energy from across the chamber." "Your power is growing." Rapidly, Cassius observed, studying Seraphina with new respect. "Perhaps too rapidly. Without proper training, you could lose control." "Then teach me," Seraphina said firmly, looking around at the faces of those who had protected her all her life. "No more secrets, no more hiding. If I'm meant to be a guardian, then let me be one properly." Damien's heart swelled with pride and love as he looked down at the remarkable woman in his arms. She had faced her destiny with courage and grace, accepting a burden that would have crushed lesser souls. "Are you sure?" he asked softly. "Once you walk this path, there's no going back to your old life." Seraphina smiled, her green eyes sparkling with determination and something else that made his breath catch. "My old life was built on lies, however well-intentioned. I want to build something real, something true with all of you." Her gaze met his, and in that moment, Damien saw not just the powerful guardian she was becoming, but the woman who had captured his heart completely. The love that had driven him to protect her all these years was now matched by her own growing feelings. And the future suddenly seemed full of infinite possibilities. As the sanctuary settled back into peaceful quiet, Seraphina took her first steps toward embracing her true heritage. But neither she nor Damien could know that their greatest challenge still lay ahead, waiting in a realm where the very fate of both their worlds would soon hang in the balance. 3 months had passed since Seraphine's awakening. Her training in the sanctuary had transformed her from a confused college student into a formidable guardian. Under Cassius's guidance, she had learned to control her growing powers, but, more importantly, she had discovered the depth of her connection to Damien. Their love had blossomed naturally, built on trust forged in battle and understanding born from shared secrets. Every evening after training, they would walk through the crystal gardens together, talking about everything and nothing, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. But tonight was different. Tonight, Cassius had summoned them to the deepest chamber of the sanctuary, where ancient portals connected their world to realms beyond human imagination. "There is something you must know," Cassius said, her usual calm demeanor shadowed with worry. "The shadow dragon's attack was not random. They were seeking something specific, something connected to your family's greatest secret." "What secret?" Seraphina asked. Though she had learned to expect the unexpected when it came to her heritage, before Cassius could answer, one of the portals began to glow with soft silver light. A figure stepped through, tall and dignified, with the same golden hair as Seraphina and eyes that held the wisdom of ages. "Hello, my daughter," Orion Vale said softly, his voice carrying years of regret and love. Seraphine's world stopped. The father she had been told died when she was a baby stood before her, very much alive and radiating the same guardian energy that flowed through her veins. "You're supposed to be dead," she whispered, emotions warring between joy and anger. "I allowed that story to protect you," Orion explained, taking a careful step forward. "I have been guarding the crystal realm, the heart of all dragon magic, waiting for the day you would be ready to claim your full inheritance." Damien moved protectively closer to Seraphina, sensing her emotional turmoil. "Why now?" "Yourself? After all these years? Because the crystal realm is under attack?" Another voice answered. A woman materialized from the portal's light, her appearance ethereal and timeless. Luna Starweaver had been the keeper of prophecies since before recorded history, and her presence here meant something momentous was about to unfold. "The shadow dragons have found a way to breach the realm's defenses," Luna continued. "If they succeed in corrupting the crystal heart, every protective spell, every covenant between dragons and humans will shatter. Both worlds will fall into chaos. Then we stop them," Seraphina said simply, though her voice trembled slightly. "It's not that simple," Orion said gently. "The crystal realm can only be entered by those of pure dragon blood or true guardians. And once inside, there's no guarantee you'll be able to return." "I'm going with her," Damien declared without hesitation. Zara added, stepping forward with determination written across her face. Luna shook her head sadly. "The realms. Magic is too volatile right now. Only Seraphina can safely make the journey. Anyone else would be consumed by the raw energy." The thought of facing this ultimate challenge alone terrified Seraphina, but before she could voice her fears, another figure emerged from the portal. This one was young, perhaps her own age, with scales that shifted between gold and crimson and eyes that held both wisdom and mischief. "Actually," the newcomer said, with a charming smile, "there might be another way." "Phoenix Ember," Luna said, with obvious fondness, "you should not be here." The dragon princes are forbidden from leaving the realm during the crisis. Phoenix grinned, his youthful features lighting up with mischief. Since when have I ever followed rules? Besides, I may have found a solution to our transportation problem. He turned to Damien with genuine respect. Your bond with Seraphina is stronger than most marriage vows. If you're willing to undergo the Guardian's trial, the realm might accept you as her bonded protector. What kind of trial? Damien asked, though his expression made it clear he would face any challenge to stay by Seraphine's side. A test of the heart, Orion answered. You would have to prove that your love for my daughter is pure, selfless, and eternal. The magic of the crystal realm would judge your soul directly. And if he fails, Seraphina asked, her heart clenching with fear, then his essence would be scattered across the cosmic winds, Luna said bluntly. There would be nothing left to save. Damien took Seraphine's hands in his dark eyes serious but unafraid. I would risk anything for you, for us, for the chance to protect what we've built together. Damien, no, Seraphina protested. I won't let you risk your life for something that's my responsibility. Our responsibility, he corrected firmly. Your fight is my fight. Your destiny is intertwined with mine. Felt it the moment I first saw you, and every day since has only made that connection stronger. Phoenix watched their exchange with growing excitement. This is perfect. The prophecies speak of the Guardian and the Protector facing the final darkness together. You two are practically written in the stars. Despite the gravity of the situation, Cassius smiled. Young Phoenix, your enthusiasm is refreshing, but this is not a romantic adventure. The fate of two worlds hangs in the balance. Exactly, Phoenix replied, his expression growing serious.
Which is why we need every advantage we can get.
Love like theirs doesn't come along often. It might be exactly what we need to succeed. The trial, when it came, was both simpler and more complex than anyone expected. Damien stood in a circle of ancient crystals while magical energy probed every corner of his being. The realm's magic examined his memories, his motivations, his deepest fears and greatest hopes. Seraphina watched in terrified silence as Damien's form was surrounded by swirling energy that seemed to be dissecting his very soul. She could feel his pain through their bond, the way the magic pulled at every secret he had ever kept. But she could also feel his love, steady and unwavering, despite the trial's intensity. His devotion to her blazed like a beacon, pure and true, and absolutely unshakable. When the energy finally dissipated, Damien stood transformed. Silver marks now traced his skin, marking him as a bonded guardian, and his eyes held new depths of power. Welcome to the Crystal Realm, Phoenix said with genuine warmth, as the portal opened to reveal a landscape of impossible beauty. The realm beyond was breathtaking. Crystal spires reached toward skies painted in shades of aurora, while gardens of living light bloomed in impossible colors. But even in its beauty, signs of corruption were visible. Dark veins ran through some of the crystal formations, and areas of shadow marked where the enemy had already struck. The heart is this way, Orion said, leading them toward the tallest spire. But be warned, Victor Blackstone has had time to prepare defenses. This won't be like your previous encounters. As they approached the crystal heart, the source of all dragon magic, they could see the scope of the Shadow Dragon's plan. Victor had not come alone this time. He had brought an army, and they had surrounded the heart with a web of dark magic designed to slowly corrupt its pure energy. Seraphina Vale, Victor's voice echoed across the crystal plaza as they emerged from concealment. You've brought friends to watch you fail. I've brought family, Seraphina replied, her power already beginning to build around her like golden fire. Something you'll never understand. The final battle was everything the prophecies had foretold and more. Seraphina and Damien fought as one being, their powers complementing and amplifying each other in ways that defied explanation. Phoenix and Orion battled the Shadow Army while Luna worked to strengthen the realm's natural defenses. But it was when Victor himself attacked the Crystal Heart directly that Seraphina truly understood her destiny. As his darkness touched the pure energy source, she felt the pain of every dragon, every human, every being whose life depended on the ancient. Covenant. I am the bridge between worlds, she declared, her voice carrying across dimensions. I am the guardian of the light, and I will not let you destroy what my ancestors died to protect. Her power exploded outward, not just golden light now, but every color of creation. The crystal heart responded to her call, its energy merging with hers until she became something greater than human, greater than dragon, something entirely new. Victor's final scream echoed across the realm as her light purified his darkness completely, not destroying him, but healing the ancient wounds that had turned him to shadow in the first place. When the battle ended and the realm was safe, Seraphina found herself changed. She was still herself, but now she truly understood her place in the grand design of things. So what happens now? Damien asked, pulling her close as they watched the crystal heart pulse with renewed strength. Now we go home, she said simply. We've saved both worlds, but our real work is just beginning. Someone needs to teach the next generation of guardians to ensure this never happens again. Together, he asked, though his smile suggested he already knew the answer. Always together, she confirmed, sealing their promise with a kiss that made the crystals around them sing with joy. As they prepared to return to their world, Phoenix approached with a grin. I don't suppose you'd consider taking on a student? The crystal realm is lovely, but I think I'd like to see what your world has to offer. And so they returned, not as they had left, but as something new. A bonded pair whose love had literally saved two worlds, ready to build a future where dragons and humans could finally live in true harmony. The end.